I don't know, Amanda. I think I'm just bored. I think that's where it all started. I was sitting in my best friend Amanda's living room, sipping wine. My name is Alice Wallman. I recently turned 39, and perhaps this is due to the dramatic changes in my life that I have been tracking since that day. I have been married to my high school sweetheart, Logan, for 20 years. Our daughter Emily recently celebrated her 20th birthday and left for college. Amanda is my best friend. To many of our friends, we were known as Double A. Amanda, like me, got married young. I think that's why we became so close. She is a year older than me and has already celebrated her 40th birthday. She is married to Russell, and they have a son, Jimmy, who is currently serving in the military. Our husbands are also best friends. They went fishing for the weekend, leaving Amanda and I drinking wine and gossiping. I don't know, I said. There's just no excitement in our lives. We do the same thing all the time. I know what you mean, Amanda replied. Is your sex as disgusting as mine? Damn, Amanda, I didn't think we drank so much. What, are we too old to talk about sex now? We used to always talk about sex, but now, because of old age, we can't. Russell and I have sex maybe once a month. What about you and Logan? She was right. We used to discuss sex, exchange ideas to improve our sex life. It's been 5 years since we last talked about sex. I'm willing to bet it's because our sex life has slowly faded away. It's about the same with Logan. If we have sex more than once a month, that's already a big achievement. But I'm also to blame. I like to go to bed early, but Logan prefers to stay up late. I'd like to shake it all up. Amanda laughed. I know, we could have affairs. Amanda, don't joke about this. Come on, I'm just kidding. I'm sure Logan would never cheat on you. I involuntarily lowered my eyes. Wait, you're hiding something. Oh God, did Logan cheat on you? I looked up in surprise. No, he didn't do that. Oh damn, it's you. Are you having an affair? There was a long silence. Amanda knew me too well. She saw through me. I wouldn't call it an affair. This only happened 4 times. 4 times? And you never told me about it. When, where, and who? I want details. This was when Emily went to kindergarten. Logan worked a lot, I hardly saw him, and received no attention at all. I signed up to help with the preparations for the Valentine's Day party and was assigned to work with one of the dads to decorate the hall. I don't know if you remember Mindy Black, but it was her father, Robert. Yes, I remember her. Her parents were divorced. Robert was hot. Robert invited me to his home to make decorations. Robert and I worked hard for several hours cutting out hearts and making other decorations. Robert brought wine and we started drinking while we worked. I don't know how it happened, but we ended up next to each other. Damn, you're turning me on, oh God. You are a girl of easy virtue. It's so hot. I can't believe you kept this from me. Wait, you said it 4 times. Why 4 and why only 4? Once at his house, twice at our house, and then we spent the weekend together. Weekend? How did you pull this off? Remember when my Aunt Alice was sick and I had to go to St. Louis to help her? On one of my trips, I planned to stay with her for the whole week. My sister called and said she would take care of it for the weekend. It so happened that Robert was at a conference in downtown St. Louis. We got a hotel room and spent the weekend ordering room service and having sex. Damn, this is incredible. It was so exciting and forbidden. I was neither a mother nor a wife. With Robert, I could be free. Why did it end? Did you get caught? When I returned home, Emily ran up to me with a hug. I started crying while holding it in my arms. I told Logan and Emily that I was just so happy to see them that the stress of being away was too much for me. In fact, I was scared to death by the thought that I could ruin my family and marriage over a few nights of hot sex. The next day I met with Robert and told him that it was all over between us. He said he understood and thanked us for a great time. I vowed then that I would never do anything again that would jeopardize my marriage or family. It really brought a little excitement to our bedroom. I tried to make it up to Logan by being a little sluttier in bed. At first he resisted, but then he liked it. Amanda pressed me for more details. Under the influence of wine, I told her all the intimate details of our hot sex with Robert. See, that's what I'm talking about. We need that kind of excitement in our sex lives, Amanda said. No way am I going to cheat on Logan again. It was too nerve-wracking and not worth it. Yes, you're right. I don't think I could cheat on Russell either, she said, followed by a pause. What if this is not treason? I don't understand how you can have sex with another person without it being considered cheating, I asked. Is it cheating if Logan knows and agrees for you to sleep with someone else? Amanda, why would Logan agree for me to sleep with another man? Amanda smiled slyly. He might if it meant he could sleep with another woman too. I don't want him to sleep with some cheap woman. What if it's not some kind of cheap thing? I can't believe we're discussing this. I'm not going to cheat on Logan, and I don't want him to cheat on me. Come on, let's think together. You said it yourself that the most exciting thing about your affair was that it was something new and different. You could be the bombshell you couldn't be with your husband. So we need to find a way to experience this without jeopardizing our marriage. It seems like it, but it's impossible, I answered in confusion. Just listen. We need to find partners that we know and trust, that they are clean and safe, I nodded. These partners will need to understand the importance of confidentiality. We don't need others to know about our affairs. It seems like you've already thought about someone specific. Yeah, I think I know who you'd approve of to sleep with Logan. Stop procrastinating. Who is it? I am. I'll sleep with Logan. What? You're going to sleep with my husband, and I'm supposed to sleep with Russell. Now you understand. See how this will solve all the problems? Don't say no too quickly. Just think about it. We both want to add a little something new to our sex life. We both agreed that we could get it by sleeping with someone new, but we weren't going to cheat on our husbands. This is the perfect solution. Russell wants you, and I saw the way Logan looked at me. You're crazy. We won't sleep with each other's husbands. Or will we? You know, Alice, during our entire conversation about sex, you never uttered the word sex. We're just talking about sex, to shake up our boring lives and pathetic sex lives. Yes, we will do it. We just need to figure out how to do it. We sat in silence, looking at each other. I tried to figure out if she was serious. I involuntarily began to imagine my best friend with my husband. The more I thought about it, the more I saw logic in Amanda's words, if, of course, you can call it logic. It's not that I've never looked at Russell and wondered what he's like in bed. Russell is a tall, thin man with a shoe size of 14. You know what they say about guys with big feet. I always wondered if this was true. You're thinking about it, I see. Shut up. Yes, I'm thinking about it. How do we know that husbands will agree to this? Oh God, they're men. They think with their bodies, not their brains. If we tell them it's okay to sleep with us, they'll jump on the idea. I bet they were already thinking about how to offer us an exchange. Okay, I want to sleep with Russell. Amanda jumped up, screaming and clapping. That's my girl. Don't rush into these delights. How do we do this? I can't just walk up to Logan and say I want to sleep with my best friend's husband. You could, but we'll make them think it was their idea. Amanda and I drank another bottle of wine, trying to come up with the perfect plan. We discussed everything from playing poker to spinning the bottle, but we couldn't come up with a plan that we thought would work. Maybe we should ask the Rowland family for help, said Amanda. You mean Lana and Ryan Rowland? Why them? I just found out that they've been holding key parties for the last 2 years. Key parties? What is it? I asked. I read about it and saw it in several films. Couples gather for a party and the men throw their keys into a bowl upon entry. At the end of the evening, the women take out their keys, and they go home with the owner of these keys. I looked at her in bewilderment. To have sex, Alice. Oh God, is this true? Do they go home and have sex? I can't believe this is happening in our city. Amanda patted my hand. Yes, this is happening. I have been trying for a long time to find out who goes there, but they only told me that these are people we know. I have to admit, Ryan is really hot. So, you're already planning to sleep with another woman's husband after mine. Shut up. I think I have a plan. We can use the Roland Key party story in my plan. My main concern is that we will not be ashamed if our husbands are against it. What's the plan? Asked Amanda. We'll go shopping and buy sexy lingerie. And when we talk about the Roland Key party, mention that you would feel embarrassed because of your age if you went to such a party, I added. Amanda looked at me with bewilderment. What's the point? I want men to feel the need to convince us that we are still sexy. And this is where our new underwear comes in handy. Damn, you're just a devil. I understand what you're getting at. We start talking about the party, hinting that we are not good enough for such events, and we're actually quite good. We start talking about how sexy we are and mention that we recently bought some hot lingerie, and they will most likely offer to demonstrate it to us. You read my thoughts. Do you think this will work? Of course it will work. Tomorrow we'll go shopping before our men return. I looked at my best friend. Are we really going to do this? Yes, if they were here, I would have seduced them already. We decided to call it a night. The next day Amanda and I went shopping. We spent a long time shopping until Amanda persuaded me to buy a pink chantilly lace chemise. It was almost completely transparent below the chest level with V-shaped panties. Amanda chose a lace bodysuit with a cutout. It was a similar pink color, almost backless, and she looked amazing in it. Our husbands returned from fishing that evening and were greeted by two very excited wives. Logan climbed into bed, apparently getting ready to fall asleep, but didn't mind when I started pestering him. On Tuesday night, I told Logan that I had invited Amanda and Russell to dinner on Friday. We did this often enough that he didn't suspect anything. I put the next part of the plan into action while cleaning up after dinner. You won't believe what I found out about the Rolands. You know, Lana and Ryan. Logan nodded, as if he knew who I was talking about, although I was sure he didn't remember them. I was told that they have been organizing partner exchange parties for over a year now. Logan watched my reaction carefully. You mean sex parties? What I heard is called key parties. I could tell from his face that he knew exactly what I was talking about. The men throw their keys into a bowl, and at the end of the evening the women take out a random set of keys. I thought that young people were gathering there, but it turned out that most of us were the same age, and many of them were our acquaintances. We continued to discuss this topic, and I did not express either categorical condemnation or explicit approval. I just can't imagine any man wanting me to choose his keys. Logan fell into my trap. He came up behind me and hugged me. Every man at that party would only dream of you choosing his keys. They would all dream of having you. Oh, a stranger I just met at a party. I don't think my husband will like you hugging his wife. Well, my very sexy hot lady, when your husband threw his keys in the bowl, he gave you permission to do whatever you want. And when you chose my keys, you had me for the whole night. In fact, I just saw your husband hand his keys to that woman who isn't as hot as you. I think my husband is having sex with that woman right now, so stranger, I need you to take me to my bed. I knew it would turn him on, because he rarely heard such words from me. Logan carried me upstairs to the bedroom. Damn, Alice, that was incredible. We should act out scenes like this more often. So this is what we did. I liked being a naughty girl. You don't mind, right? Do I object? No, it was very hot. You're so sexy. I liked it. Come on, which one of me is sexy? I'm almost 40. Now he was where I wanted him. Logan kept telling me how attractive I was, and that all the men who saw me thought the same thing. The next day Amanda and I discussed how our evening scenes went. She and Russell had a similar outcome, although she didn't go the role-playing route. We both decided that our husbands were where we wanted them, and the plan for Friday night was ready. My new lingerie was hidden in our bedroom, waiting in the wings. We also decided that we wouldn't have sex with them until Friday so that their desire had time to build up. I was a little nervous, but after Tuesday evening all the anxiety disappeared. On Friday night, I wore a sexy blue blouse with a low neckline and a short skirt. Luckily, Logan noticed and complimented him. Amanda was dressed even more daringly. When she and Russell walked through the door, Her breasts were practically falling out of her blouse. I noticed how Logan looked at her and decided to tease him. Agree, she looks sexy, right? Logan did a great job with this. Yes, you both look sexy. Dinner went according to plan. The men kept glancing at our breasts. We drank some alcohol, but Amanda didn't want them to get too drunk and not be able to do anything. We moved into the living room, having normal conversations. I was already thinking about how to start a conversation about the Rolands when Russell himself started it. I can't believe the Rolands throw parties. Logan immediately chimed in. Yes, Alice told me about this too. We sat and discussed the concept, talking about what it would be like to sleep with someone's spouse. I noticed that the men were surprised that we didn't dismiss the idea right away. I can't believe they let chance decide who they sleep with, Amanda said. The very fact of sex with another man doesn't bother you, but the randomness of choosing from a bowl scares you, Logan asked. Amanda hugged Russell. If we came to a party like this, it means that Russell and I have already agreed that it's okay for us to have sex with others. Crazy is not knowing who that person will be. Russell pointed to his wife. What's crazy is that my wife doesn't think she's attractive enough for these parties. Funny, Alice said the same thing. Look at these women. They would be the hottest thing at any party, Logan said. You guys are so sweet, but we're just middle-aged women. You're just saying this to cheer us up, Amanda objected. The jokes and discussions continued for about 10 to 15 minutes. Logan even asked Russell if he thought I was sexy, and Russell asked the same thing about his wife. Damn, I admit I've been staring at Amanda's breasts all evening, Logan admitted. I was afraid Russell would be angry, but he just chimed in. I know what you're talking about, buddy. I also looked at Alice's breasts all evening. I still couldn't find a way to mention our new underwear, but Amanda beat me to it. You say that we are hot, but this is in ordinary clothes. It hides all our shortcomings. And at such parties you need to be in something different, more revealing. Logan looked at me. I'm not complaining, but you're both dressed rather skimpily today, and you look absolutely stunning. Russell looked at his wife with excitement. If you want to strip naked, Logan and I will gladly appreciate your hotness. Right, Logan? Oh yeah, Russell, and I would be happy to give you our opinion on what you look like without clothes, Logan chimed in. Take it easy, boys. We won't get naked, but Alice and I went shopping last weekend while you were fishing. I thought we could show off what we bought. Alice, are you ready? I guess so. I thought I'd save this for a special occasion, but well, why not? Amanda and I ran upstairs to change. Amanda took out our shopping bags and we both began to undress. Damn, I hope our men make a move, otherwise I will need urgent release, Amanda said, pulling on a tight lace bodysuit. I can't believe we're doing this. Just don't try to change your mind, Amanda warned. I won't back down, I'm ready. Amanda hugged me. Well, let's go. We went downstairs, and as soon as we came into sight of the men, they froze in silence for a moment. At first, I thought we had gone too far, but then the men started shouting and whistling. Damn, you look amazing, Russell exclaimed. Amanda and I did everything we could to move seductively around our husbands. We started by posing in front of our husbands and then moved on to dancing around each other's husbands. We all fell into an awkward silence as Russell motioned for Logan to come towards him. Both men went into the kitchen and began to whisper something. It felt like a few minutes, although it was probably faster. Russell came out first, holding a bowl. We have an idea. We were talking about that key party you said you weren't too sexy to go to. We decided to turn this into a game. Russell picked up his car keys and threw them into the bowl. Logan also brought his keys and threw them there. If our hot ladies want to play, we don't mind. I have a furry bunny's foot keychain on my keys, and Logan has a metal W. If you agree to play, then blindly select a set of keys, and we will play the evening. What do you say? Amanda quickly dragged me into the kitchen. This is brilliant of them. There is no chance of making a mistake with the choice of keys. They deliberately left you a choice. This is their way of putting everything into our hands. Of course, I'm in, but now everything depends on you. No pressure or judgment if you don't want to. So you guys are putting all this on me. Damn, my stomach is turning. I don't know if I can do this. Thank you for not putting pressure on me, I whispered. We returned to the living room, and I still didn't know what I was going to do. Well, guys, give me a bowl. Amanda and I decided to play, and I'll draw first, I said, looking straight at Logan. You want me to do this, right? Logan nodded, then Russell joined in, saying yes. And are you okay with whatever keys I choose? Both men nodded again. My hand shook as I lowered it into the bowl. I deliberately did it dramatically, as if I was choosing the keys blindly. The men looked at me anxiously as I moved my hand around the bowl. I caught their eye as I held out my keys. They both groaned when they saw the metal W on the ring that represented my husband's keys. As soon as I lifted the keys above the bowl where they could see the W, I dropped them back down. Oh, my hand slipped. Don't worry, I'll get them back now. Reaching in again, I felt for the rabbit's foot and pulled it out. I think these are the ones, I said. The men looked stunned, but their faces were beaming with smiles. Are you sure you chose the ones you wanted? Logan asked. Yes, I'm sure. Amanda immediately reached into the bowl and pulled out Logan's keys. So, we'll do everything right and Logan will take me to our house, she asked with a smile. We all fell silent, contemplating the implications of what she had just suggested. Russell spoke first. If we're going to play for real, let's go all the way. We exchanged glances again. I took a step towards Amanda, took the keys from her, and hugged Logan. I kissed him and said, I love you. The other three watched as I held both sets of keys in my hands. Looking at both, I handed Russell's keys to Amanda. They all looked shocked. Amanda immediately asked, What are you doing? Have you already decided? Well, your car is parked behind Logan's car. I also thought it would be better to put the car in the garage, so that no one would notice that Logan's car would be left with you all night. Everyone laughed with relief. That's why you're our chief planner, Russell said. He kissed his wife, and he and I watched as our spouses walked out the front door, hand in hand. When they left, Russell turned to me. What are we going to do now? I don't think you've seen the whole house yet. Would you like me to give you a tour? This will be a beautiful view. Lead. You are so nice. How about starting from the top floor? I replied, playfully shaking my hips as I walked up the stairs. Having reached the top of the stairs, I immediately went to the bedroom. I think this is a good room to start, I said. And we had sex. So, are you staying the night or what? Logan and I agreed that if you go for it, we'll stay the night and leave in the morning before 8, if that's okay with you. So you discussed this. It wasn't a very long conversation. We weren't sure that you would actually decide to do this. When you pulled out Logan's keys the first time, I thought that would be the end of it. I've already said that I've been fantasizing about sleeping with you for a long time, but Logan and I were talking about trying to talk you into a trade. We didn't think you'd agree. I didn't think I'd agree either. But if it's not too much trouble for you, I'll set the alarm for 6:30. 6:30. I don't have to leave until 8. I patted him. I was hoping that after a few hours of sleep, my new friend would be ready to play again. Damn, I probably won't be able to sleep. Logan Wallman. I'm 40 years old. I'm married to Alice. My friend Russell and I went fishing for the weekend. It was just a good opportunity to get out of the house. We did a little fishing, but mostly we drank and talked. Russell and I have a lot in common. One such commonality is that our sex lives have come to a standstill. Neither of us understood how it happened, but over the past 5 years sex had become rare and boring. Don't get me wrong, I love having sex with my wife. But Russell and I came to the conclusion that everything had calmed down. Russell, finding himself in the same situation, tried to figure out how to fix everything. But we had no solutions. When we were younger, we dreamed of talking our wives into doing something together. Our dream was the idea of trading, but we also thought about playing like poker or something like that. However, We were never given such an opportunity. He was very open about how he always thought my wife was hot, and I always found his wife incredibly sexy. I returned home on Sunday evening after fishing to find Alice already asleep in bed. I took a shower and lay down quietly next to her. I was so tired that I started to fall asleep as soon as I touched the pillow, but I couldn't sleep. To my surprise, she started pestering me and we made love. It's so good that you returned home, dear. I lay in bed wondering what the hell just happened. Russell and I had been complaining all weekend about how our wives had little to no sex drive, and then my wife greeted me like a star. The next morning, I received a text from Russell. Lunch. When we met for lunch, Russell immediately began. You won't believe what Amanda did when I got home. I thought she was already asleep when I arrived. I got into the shower, soaped myself up, and then I felt someone open the shower door. I have no idea what came over her. Damn, I wish I knew what they were doing this weekend. Alice also attacked me when I returned home. We spent lunch discussing what could have gotten them so excited. We theorized, ranging from thoughts that they had lovers to that they might have arranged a sexual affair with each other. Whatever it was, we agreed to call each other if anything else happened. Something really happened the next evening. The next night, Tuesday, Alice and I were clearing up the dishes after dinner when she mentioned that she'd heard about Lana and Ryan Rowland having a party. I pretended that I didn't quite remember who they were, but in fact I knew perfectly well who Lana Rowland was. She was a very hot blonde with great breasts. When we saw her by the pool, I, like all the other men, could not take my eyes off her. I expected Alice to express her disgust at such parties and condemn them, but she didn't. On the contrary, she showed interest in this topic. Alice began to wonder if any of our friends might attend such events and have sex with each other. Then she said that she didn't feel sexy enough to go to such a party. I knew she just wanted to hear compliments about her appearance, but that didn't bother me at all. We started acting out a skit where I pretended to be a stranger picking her up at one of the Rowlands' parties, and to my surprise, she supported the game. The next day, Russell and I met again for lunch. His story turned out to be almost an exact copy of mine. Amanda also mentioned the Rowlands' parties to him, and they had sex. Like me, he expected his wife to be horrified by their lifestyle, but as it turned out, she was interested too. Moreover, Amanda, like Alice, expressed uncertainty about her sexual attractiveness. They're clearly up to something, I said. I completely agree. Maybe it's time to implement our exchange plan. No, if they are planning something, I suggest we just play along with them. Let everything take its course, but we will be prepared for the fact that they want to offer something. And of course, if they offer something like this, we both agree to the exchange, right? Hell yes, Russell said too loudly. By the way, I noticed that Alice mentioned Friday dinner right after she talked about the Rowlands' parties. I think we should discuss this Friday night when we're together. Russell agreed to the plan. On Friday night, as we were getting ready for dinner, Alice was wearing a sexy blue low-cut blouse and short skirt. I noticed her outfit and couldn't help but compliment her. Damn, you look hot, honey. Are we going to the club? Oh, thank you, honey. Glad you noticed. But no, we're just at home, just the four of us. We had just finished cooking when the doorbell rang. I opened the door and Russell walked in first, shaking my hand. Amanda followed him in, wearing a silk blouse that held her so loosely that I thought her breasts were going to fall out. Amanda hugged me tightly, pressing her chest against me. I couldn't help but stare at her breasts, and my wife noticed it. I was sure that I would get it from her now. Instead, she winked at me and said, "Doesn't she look hot today?" I glanced at both women. "You both look hot today." Amanda playfully patted my butt as my wife walked into the kitchen. An excellent way out of the situation. Russell pulled me aside while the girls set the table. Well, something is clearly happening. They're dressed like they're going to a club, and last night Amanda stopped me from having sex with her. This is weird. When you came in, Alice caught me looking at your wife's breasts. Normally, she would have been angry, but she didn't say anything, as if she liked that I was watching. I'll have to be careful looking at your wife's breasts. I laughed, and then I remembered something else. Something else weird. I wanted to make margaritas, but Alice said she didn't want us to get drunk. Damn, Amanda said the same thing. She doesn't want us to get drunk. They're up to something. Like you said, we'll just play by their rules. Dinner went well, but I couldn't help but notice how my wife leaned over every time she served Russell's food. The girls insisted on putting away the dishes, while they constantly whispered to each other. Alice looked nervous as she sat down on the sofa next to me after it was all over. We chatted about all sorts of things until Russell remembered the Rowlands' key parties. Amanda perked up when we started talking about it. She looked at me and smiled. When we made eye contact, she leaned over, giving me a perfect view of her breasts. I was distracted by her breasts, but I could have sworn that Amanda said she would try the key party if Russell agreed. Returning to the conversation, I heard Russell mention that Amanda didn't think she was sexy enough for these kinds of parties. I decided to push it a little. Come on, it's bullshit that you two aren't sexy enough. I can't take my eyes off Amanda's breasts all evening. Hope you don't mind, buddy. No problem, brother. She's really beautiful. I admit I, too, have been looking at your wife's breasts all evening. Alice blushed, but clearly enjoyed it. Amanda made a strange remark that they looked good in regular clothes, but not in anything more revealing. Russell said that if they wanted to get naked, we would be interested in evaluating them. For a moment, I thought they were actually going to get naked. The girls looked at each other and nodded. Amanda said they bought something for us and were going to show it off. They both ran upstairs to our bedroom. What the hell is going on? I asked. I'm not sure, but I really thought Amanda was going to take off her clothes. Whatever they do, I like it. We might have to end the evening early and go home and have sex. I understand you, buddy. I hope the girls think the same as we do. I think we should try an exchange. You take my wife to our home, and I will stay here. What do you say? I don't mind, but I don't want to rush things. I don't want to anger my wife and end up without sex. Okay, let's let them play, Russell said. We waited in silence for several minutes until we heard Russell say, "Damn, you're so hot." I turned around and saw his wife coming down the stairs in a tiny pink bodysuit that barely covered her body. Amanda came downstairs and made a circle, showing us her back, which was no less incredible than the front. Alice walked a few steps behind her and looked no less stunning. She was wearing a lace-transparent pink cape through which everything was visible except her breasts. The V-neck panties covered almost nothing and nothing at all in the back. Alice danced towards me while Russell's wife moved towards him. She danced better than any dancer, at least in my mind that night. "You look damn hot, honey," I whispered to her. She silently said that she loved me. At this point, Amanda suggested a change. Amanda danced next to me. I was sure that my wife was doing the same with Russell, but all my attention was on Amanda. Amanda said something about how they needed proof that we thought they were hot. Damn, I thought, we've gone further than I ever imagined. They stopped dancing and just stood there as Russell pulled me into the kitchen. "We almost got them," Russell whispered. "What do you mean?" I asked, confused. "You said it right, let's let them play the game. Where's the bowl and get your keys?" I took a plastic bowl and my keys. "We'll tell them we want to play a key party." We put the keys in a bowl and let them choose what to do next. Russell picked up his keys to connect them with mine. "Oh, I understand. They know exactly which keys are whose, and if our wives choose someone else's, it means that they want to continue the game. I like it." Russell theatrically lifted the bowl, throwing in his keys and then mine. The big question was whether they would play, and if so, what keys they would draw from the bowl. Amanda and Alice came running into the kitchen, just as we had moments earlier. Russell grabbed my hand. "We're on the ropes, buddy. You understand what they are deciding now. If they agree, you will take my wife to your home, and I will stay here. We'll change back at 8 in the morning. Damn, I can't believe we've come this far." The girls returned, and Alice looked worried. I've already seen that look on her face when she didn't know what to do. She took the bowl and announced that they would play and that she would choose first. My mouth went dry as my wife held the bowl. She looked me straight in the eye and asked if I wanted her to do it. I tried to answer, but could only nod. "You don't care which keys I choose, right?" she asked. Russell and I nodded in unison. I saw her hand shake as she lowered herself into the bowl. She caught the keys very theatrically. I held my breath as she began to pull out a set of keys. I heard Russell sigh heavily when we could make out the W on my keys. Suddenly, she dropped them. "Oh," she said. Her hand went back into the bowl and pulled out another set of keys. It was weird, but I would have sworn I noticed fur on Russell's keys. Oh my God, I thought. This is a keychain with a rabbit's foot on it. My wife made it clear that she wanted to sleep with Russell so I could have sex with Amanda. Damn it, she chose Russell's keys. "Are you sure these are the keys you want to choose?" I asked, wanting her to be sure. She replied that she was sure. Alice came up to me, kissed me, and said that she loved me. Then she took my keys from Amanda, which she took out of the bowl. Alice surprised everyone when she gave Amanda Russell's keys. We all thought she had changed her mind, but she explained that their car was behind ours, and it would be better if my car didn't sit outside their house all night. Amanda kissed her husband, and we walked to their car. I was tempted to look back, but I didn't, and neither did Amanda. I laughed as we began the short drive to their house. "What's so funny?" asked Amanda. "I just hope they don't stop us." I don't know how I would explain that I was driving my best friend's car with his practically naked wife. Amanda looked at me seriously and said, "You could tell the cop you're going to your best friend's house to sleep with his wife." As we closed the garage door, Amanda hugged me and kissed me. When we broke away from each other, she looked into my eyes. "I have long dreamed of you being here. Do you want to have a drink first or go straight to my bed? A drink would be nice, but your bed is much more attractive." "Okay, I don't want to waste any more time on trifles." Amanda led me upstairs to her bedroom. "Leave the light on or turn it off?" she asked. "It's a little bright in here, but I want to see your beautiful body." Amanda dimmed the lights, then hugged me tightly. We had sex. "You and Alice planned this, didn't you?" I asked. Amanda smiled at me. "Is this a problem?" "Not at all. I liked everything. I'm just surprised you and Alice pulled this off. How long have you been planning this?" She leaned over and kissed me. "I've been wanting to sleep with you for a long time, but I couldn't figure out how to persuade Alice. I always thought she was so conservative, especially in matters of sex." "How did you manage to convince her?" "We talked over the weekend, and she told me something about herself that gave me the idea that she might be open to such an exchange." Amanda fell silent abruptly, as if she had said something unnecessary. I looked into her eyes. "She told you about her betrayal, didn't she?" Amanda looked shocked. "No, she didn't tell me about it." "It's okay, Amanda. I know about her affair with Robert, and I'm okay with it." When I said the name, I saw that Amanda realized that I knew. "Oh, damn, she doesn't think you know." "How did you know?" "It was at a time when I worked a lot. We hardly saw each other, let alone had sex. I felt guilty for ignoring her, and one day I decided to surprise her by coming home early. But a surprise awaited me. A strange car was parked in the driveway. I parked on the hill and just watched. I had binoculars in the car from a hunting trip a couple of months ago. I almost died when I saw Robert kiss my wife on the doorstep before he left. I waited until Alice went to pick Emily up from school. When I walked into our bedroom, I immediately smelled sex. She changed the sheets, but hadn't washed them yet. I didn't know what to do. A week later, she went to see her sick aunt. Her sister called me on Saturday morning, asking if Alice had gotten home okay. I assumed she spent that weekend with Robert having sex. When she returned, she burst into tears, hugging Emily and me, and confessed her love for me. "Oh God, why didn't you tell her?" 2 days later, I arrived at Robert's house. He was scared to death, thinking that I would kill him. I thought about kicking his ass. He told me everything. He explained how it started and how their weekend full of sex went. He also said that the day before, Alice called him, crying, and said that she had made the biggest mistake of her life and that she did not want to destroy her family. I decided it was over and took some of the blame for ignoring her. Amanda buried her head in my chest. I don't think I could be so understanding. Isn't this the same thing we do now? You just left your husband to have sex with my wife, and you and I just hooked up. Aren't they the same thing? No, it's not the same thing. We all agreed to this. We all knew exactly what was going to happen when Alice pulled Russell's keys out of the bowl. Yes, I've been fantasizing about having sex with you for a long time, but I would never do it behind Russell's back. I'd be lying if I said I didn't imagine myself in your bed before, but I agree with you. This is only possible with Alice's approval. Will this be a one-time thing? God, I hope not. Did you like it too? I was delighted, and I'm ready to do it again as soon as my wife allows it. We will repeat this several more times tonight. Amanda and I slept together twice more that night. The last time was when the light from the window flooded the room after we had slept for a couple of hours. After putting on her shoes, Amanda beckoned me over. Come here. Amanda pulled me towards her and kissed me. Thank you for a wonderful evening. Do you want to hear my next plan? I'm a little afraid of what you'll say, but come on, tell me. I want to persuade Alice to go to the Rowlands' key party. Are you with us? I thought for a few seconds. Damn, since we've come this far, why not? Don't tell her now. Just play it until the moment comes. I think we should go through tonight one more time before we go in that direction. I kissed Amanda goodbye. If you don't mind, I'll take your car to our house so Russell can drive it back. Amanda agreed to this plan. I sent Russell a message to let him know what I was doing. Considering that Amanda and I had just had sex, I wondered if Russell and Alice were having their own morning session. Russell replied that he was ready. When I arrived at the house, Russell came out of the house. We shook hands, not knowing what to say. I broke the silence. Did everything go well? Yes, everything is fine, Russell laughed. It was cool. What about you? Yes, everything went fine for us too. Are we still friends? Until the end, brother. After Russell left, I returned home and fell asleep naked in my bed. I don't know how long I slept, but I woke up when I found myself in my wife's arms. She was fast asleep, so I curled up in her arms and dozed off again. I woke up because I really wanted to go to the toilet, and I had to get up. I got out of Logan's arms as quietly as possible and went to the bathroom. Returning to bed, I lifted the sheets and noticed that my husband was as naked as I was. I pressed myself against him again, thinking about how many times he had sex with my best friend. I kissed him on the cheek and told him I loved him. Honey, make love to me. By 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we finally got up to have lunch. We were silent. Both did not know what to say. I broke the silence. Do you hate me? You think I'm a woman of easy virtue, right? What? No, what we did last night was an experiment. We tried something new. There's nothing wrong with that. I reached out to take his hand. I have one confession. Please don't be mad at me, but I liked it. I enjoyed being a little free, so to speak. I think I'd like to do it again. I want to watch you have sex with Amanda. This is bad. Logan leaned over and kissed me. You are not a woman of easy virtue, and I love you. I'll admit it too, I enjoyed having sex with Amanda. I don't love her, like you said. I just had sex with her. It was different than when you and I make love, or even when we just have sex. If you want to do it again, I'll love it. But I think we both understand that this is a purely physical thing, like playing a sport. So it's like we're playing doubles tennis, and we just swapped teams. Logan laughed. Only if you don't hit me with a racket. Seriously, I want us to understand that if at any time while we are having sex with them you want to stop, it will stop and no one will ask questions. That's why I love you. Do you mind that my depraved side is coming out? I didn't know that my wife and the mother of my child had a naughty side. I think that's the point. Last night I was neither a wife nor a mother. I was able to go beyond these roles. It was exciting. And when you rest after your training with Amanda, I want to be yours. I think I can do it now.
Hmm.
I can't wait to take my sexy girlfriend to bed. Amanda and I had lunch on Wednesday. Damn, you look tired. Are you getting enough sleep? Amanda asked me. A wide smile appeared on my face. Logan and I were busy last night. In bed or out of it. I laughed. I promised Logan that when he rested after you tired him out, I would have him for one night. We both liked it. Great. So what did you do? You know, we've never done this before. You know what I'll ask now. Will we change again? Want? I asked Amanda, knowing her answer. Damn it, of course, yes. But I want to do it differently. I looked at her with curiosity. I don't want us to go to different houses or even different rooms. I want us to be in the same room. I smiled at her again. Okay, anything else? Amanda smiled slyly. I want to try something new. I looked at her expectantly. I want to try it with two men at once. I think I would like it. I think it won't be difficult to persuade the guys to do this. So, are we going to do it this weekend? Yes, Logan, and I don't have any plans. I think we can. As I was about to stand up, Amanda stopped me. Let me ask one more question. I spoke with Lana Rowland. She invited us to their party next month. I was shocked. Amanda, what have you done? Come on, as much as we've talked about their key parties, you can't say you haven't thought about going. Perhaps you will get her incredibly sexy husband that you so want. Amanda, it's one thing to have sex with Russell and you with Logan, but I'm not sure I could do that with a stranger. That's the whole point. Tell Logan you want to try it and see how he reacts. Russell was delighted when I told him. We're definitely going. I hope you and Logan are too. I felt dizzy when I left Amanda. I enjoyed having sex with Russell, but the idea of going to bed with a stranger scared me. Logan and I were lying in bed cuddling when I mentioned that we were going to Amanda and Russell's this weekend. So, it's not just dinner that awaits us, he asked. Amanda wants this. What do you want? Logan asked. I realized that I agreed without consulting Logan, so I lied. I told her that I should consult with you. That's not what I asked. You had time to think. I want to be sure that you really want to do this again and in the same room. I laughed. You are so caring. Yes, I think I want to, but I think you'll have to separate Amanda from her husband. Logan looked at me puzzled. She wants you and Russell to have sex with her at the same time. Maybe we'll see. Amanda said something else. She received an invitation from Lana Rowland to their next party. They are going and want us to go too. I told her I'll ask you. Do you want to go? It could be fun if you want, but we don't have to go if you don't want to. I don't know, honey, but it seems like you want to, I said. It was already difficult for me to agree to have sex with close friends, but I'm not sure I could pull the keys out of the bowl. Saturday came faster than we expected. Amanda and I have been very busy this week and haven't talked much. I helped her in the kitchen while the guys went into the living room to chat. What did Logan say when you asked him about the party? Is he excited? Yes, he is excited, and yes, he wants to go. You're right. Men think with their bodies. So the answer is yes? I won't lie, it turns me on a little, but the idea of sex with a stranger scares me. Amanda came up to me and put her arm around my shoulder. I'll take that as a yes. How do you want to spend this evening? I don't know. Do I have to decide now? She kissed me on the cheek. Yes, you will have to. Think about it over dinner, and then tell everyone what we're going to do. I tried to protest, but Amanda insisted that the decision was mine. After dinner, we moved into the living room, and everyone looked at me expectantly. Amanda stood up. Alice will tell you how we start this evening. Come on, Alice. Okay, fine, I'll take the lead. If you remember last weekend. It's a weekend I'll never forget, Russell interjected. Yes, that's right. Last time Amanda and I dressed up in lingerie, now it's your turn. You must strip down to your underwear and dance for us. If we decide the dance was good enough, we will take you to the bedroom and have sex with you. And so we did. Amanda put her hand on my shoulder. Before you go, I want to discuss something. Russell and I decided to go to the Roland's next key party. We want you to come with us. I was afraid she would bring it up again. I was sure that she hoped that in the heat of passion I would agree. Amanda, this is a serious step. I need to talk to Logan. I promise we will give you the answer tomorrow. We all kissed except the guys and got dressed before Logan and I went home. Returning to our bed, we hugged. I knew Logan wouldn't bring it up, so I started myself. Do you want us to go to this party? I will support you in any decision you make, Logan said. This is nonsense. Logan looked at me in surprise. You heard me. This is nonsense. You guys made it my decision when we switched with Russell and Amanda. Now you want to blame everything on me again. I asked you, do you want to go? I want an honest answer, not whatever you say. Fine. The answer is yes. I have to admit, it was exciting to trade with Russell and Amanda. I was afraid that I would be jealous if you were with another man again. Oh God, he said again. It was as if I was overwhelmed with a cold. I wondered if Amanda had told him something. What do you mean again? What I said, I know you had sex with Robert many years ago. I don't want there to be secrets between us. The look on my face must have been stunned. I silently whispered, how? I knew from the very beginning. Amanda didn't tell me. Apparently, I just got home at the wrong time that day. I started crying and pressed my head against his chest, sobbing. I'm so sorry. Why didn't you say anything? Because I knew it was over. I looked at him with the same expression, how? After your weekend with Robert, I visited him. I wanted to kill him, and perhaps I would have done it if he had not said that you yourself put an end to it. I think I believed him, but I also made him pretty scared. Look, I was guilty too. I sat there with my head buried in Logan's chest for a few minutes, thinking about what had happened. I'm glad it's out now. I was so afraid that you would find out and leave me. I fell silent for a moment. It amazes me that you trust me. I'm surprised that you willingly allowed me to sleep with another man. I was a little nervous at first. To be honest, after all this, I went to see a therapist. She suggested that I talk to you about it. I chickened out. She also said that it was probably all about sex and nothing more. I hoped that was the case, but I wanted to find out for both of us. I realized that he was talking not only about my novel. What did you find out? The most important thing is that I still love you, and I believe that you love me too. Secondly, sex with Amanda was great, but it had nothing to do with love. It was just sex, as she put it. I think like you and Robert. I wasn't sure how I'd react when I saw you and Russell having sex. And that brings us to the current issue, the party. After this weekend and the previous ones, I thought it would be fun to try their party. Only if we both agree and understand that it's just sex. I sat there stunned. Logan's confession about my affair shocked me. I was very stressed about this party, mainly because I didn't know who they might set me up with. If Logan hadn't mentioned my affair, I would have said I didn't want to go. I felt obligated to go if he wanted me to, and he really seemed to want to. If you don't mind, I think we'll go. You know, I'm terribly sorry for what happened to Robert, and I love you. Logan hugged me and assured me that he loved me. My phone rang, and it was Amanda. She started the conversation with, "Well, shall we go?" He knows Amanda. There was silence on the other end of the line. He knows about my affair. Still silence. You knew he knew, didn't you? Damn it, Amanda, why didn't you tell me? I'm sorry, he told me this in confidence, and I didn't expect him to tell you that he knew. He knew, and he knew all along. I felt so guilty that I couldn't refuse him anything he asked for. Great, so are we going? Asked Amanda. No, not great. I'm scared to death. It was one thing to sleep with someone I knew, but now it would be a stranger, and Logan would also end up with someone unknown. I'm not sure I can handle this. But after he told me that he knew about my affair, I couldn't refuse him. Don't worry, we'll have lunch this week. I have a plan. Amanda, seriously, is there a way to undo this? Alice, you are being ridiculous. I don't understand. You enjoyed sex with my husband, and you didn't have a problem with me sleeping with your Logan. We're talking about one-on-one sex. Yes, with someone I don't know, and whom I will choose by pulling the keys out of the bowl. I was already having an anxiety attack and had nightmares. Amanda leaned closer as we looked at the menu. Nightmares. Which ones exactly? I had 3 different dreams. In the first, Logan chooses the most beautiful woman in the room. They laugh at me, saying he'll never come home. In the second dream, I come to a party, and when I get to the point of choosing keys, everyone starts shouting, "Cheater," and throwing things at me. In the last dream, I leave with a faceless guy. Amanda burst out laughing. Oh God, that last dream is really funny, admit it. As for the first 2, it's just your guilt coming out. I told you I have a plan. What's the plan? I asked. You need to feel confident for everything to go well. If you panic, you need something familiar that you feel comfortable with, right? I nodded. Russell will be your rock. If you're nervous, all you have to do is pull out his bunny's foot keychain and go home with Russell. What are the odds that there will be 2 rabbits' feet in there? Lana told me that the newbies go first. It's a flawless plan. I thought about her plan and had to admit that it had to work. Okay, that's not bad. I think I can do that. Fine. It's a great plan and you know it. We need to get there early. Lana is throwing a little pre-party for the newbies. Lana loves to discuss the rules and make sure new couples understand what they're getting into. It's logical. What are we going to wear? Lana said they were wearing casual party clothes. This means trousers and something like a polo shirt for men. Women wear a variety of dresses and trousers. Lana said she likes to wear pants. Yes, with her long legs, probably, I said with envy of her appearance. I told her you and Logan were in on it. She said she would send you an invitation with additional details. 2 days later, a cream envelope arrived. Logan and I read it together when he got home. The letter congratulated her on being invited to their exclusive party. The date was Saturday. The letter suggested that women carry a separate remote control for their garage door in their purse, so neighbors wouldn't see other people's cars in their driveways overnight. I laughed when I read that drinks and snacks would be available, but men were strongly advised to limit their alcohol consumption for performance reasons. The last paragraph of the letter stated that new couples must arrive at 6:30 for a mandatory pre-event. We walked over to the computer together and Logan typed in an email address. Last chance to decline, Logan said, keeping his finger on the send button. My stomach was churning with excitement, but I told him to press the button. The next week dragged on incredibly long, but Saturday evening finally arrived. We decided to have dinner before heading to the party. When we ordered our food, Amanda and I got wine and the guys got water. Amanda and I looked at each other and giggled. I think our guys are worried about their performance, Amanda said. Oh no, we just don't want to take the risk, Russell countered. We want to make a good and strong impression at our first event. 2 glasses of wine with dinner helped me relax a little, but on the way to the Rowland house, my nerves began to make themselves known again. I squeezed Logan's hand tightly as he drove. Are you okay? He asked. Just a little nervous, I guess. Honey, we don't have to do this if you don't want to. I almost screamed for him to turn the car around and go home, but I didn't. No, it's okay. We already agreed to go. My legs felt as heavy as lead as we approached the door of this beautiful house. When Lana opened the door, I thought I heard the guys gasp. They had every reason. Black tight pants made her long legs look even longer. Her blouse had a low-lace neckline that barely covered her large breasts. She hugged each of us in greeting. We were led into the living room where 2 other couples were already sitting, talking to Ryan. I thought I gasped again when I saw Ryan. I hadn't seen him in about a year, but he still looked amazing. Tall, dark, and well-built. He wasn't as big as a bodybuilder, but he looked fit. I remembered his 6-pack abs when I saw him by the pool. Looks like he still has them. Ryan came over to say hello, shaking the guys' hands and hugging me and Amanda. Ryan introduced us to the other two couples. First up were Megan and Brad. Brad was about 6 feet tall, with an average appearance. He wasn't as attractive as Ryan, but he wasn't ugly either. Megan was what I would call a chubby cutie, about 5 feet 2 inches tall, with a very cute round face. She was wearing a knee-length skirt that barely covered her full hips. The blouse highlighted her ample cleavage. The second couple was about our age. I would define her as a woman about 40 years old, and he was a little older. Jeff and Amy, like us, recently escorted their children out of the nest. Amy, like Amanda and I, wore a cocktail dress that fell just below her knees. The dress was quite conservative, it covered the chest. Jeff was an attractive man who looked distinguished with gray temples. We exchanged an awkward hug before taking our seats. Lana walked to the front of the room, next to her husband. "Welcome to our home. Ryan and I are so glad you decided to join us. Let's start with the basics. By agreeing to come here, you have agreed that, just like in Vegas, what happens here stays here." Lana looked at each couple, and each nodded in turn. "Okay, now let's get down to business. I think everyone understands why we have gathered here, but I will still say it directly so that there is no misunderstanding. After a couple of hours of getting to know each other, I will gather everyone in this room. Each of the men will place their keys in this bowl. The women will take turns getting the keys, except for their husbands. The women will go home with the owner of these keys for the night. I don't want there to be any confusion about what this is about. The person you go home with expects you to have sex with them. If this was not your understanding, or you have changed your mind, now is the time to say so. I promise no one will judge you. This is something I cannot guarantee once the keys are already in the bowl." Lana looked around the room again, and I squeezed Logan's hand as she walked towards us. We looked at each other and both nodded. We usually do a random draw to determine what order the women will pick the keys in, but when we have newcomers, they go first. I will put the women's names in a separate bowl and pull them out one by one. I always go last. We have another small tradition. When everyone arrives, the men go out onto the terrace to smoke a cigar. It gives the men time to be alone and us girls can talk a little. When the meeting ended, I struck up a conversation with Amy. She told me that they had attended these parties several times when they were younger. Now that their daughter had left for college, they wanted to try something new and exciting. I told Amy our similar story. She and I quickly found a common language and exchanged phone numbers with the opportunity to meet again after the evening. Megan came up to us and introduced herself. It was clear that she was very nervous. She told us that it was her husband's idea to come to the party. She refused many times, but was afraid that he would cheat on her if she did not agree. Megan clearly suffered from self-esteem issues. She admitted to us that she had recently lost 40 pounds, but still felt huge around us. Amy and I tried to convince her that she was pretty, and she really was. She also told us that Brad is the only man she's ever been with. The thought of being with another man scared and excited her at the same time. I whispered in her ear that I had similar feelings. She, like Amy, asked for my number so she could maybe talk and meet up after the night was over. Other guests began to arrive, couple by couple. There were 6 couples in total. It was a diverse group of different ages and sizes. No one was as dazzlingly beautiful as Lana and Ryan, but overall they were an attractive group of late 20s to mid-40s. Logan and I greeted everyone, trying to remember their names, when Lana brought us a short blonde and a tall man with a bald head. Lana introduced them as Debbie and Carl. I recognized her immediately. She was our daughter's 8th grade class teacher. I wasn't sure if I should say anything, but she started the conversation first. Debbie extended her hand. "We know the Wallmans. I was their daughter Hannah's 8th grade homeroom teacher." "Oh God, I hope this isn't awkward," Lana said. "No, not at all. The Wallmans are wonderful parents, and I was delighted to teach their daughter." Debbie and I talked about Hannah and then about the party. This was their 3rd party, and they both really enjoyed it. She admitted that we were the first parents of her students whom she had met at such events and hoped that this would not be a problem for us. I assured her that this would not be a problem for us, but noted that if she were still teaching our daughter, it might be a challenge. Debbie agreed, adding that she hoped not to run into any parents of her current students. I noticed that Logan was looking at her. When we walked away, I asked him, "Wouldn't it be weird if she chose your keys?" "Not at all, she's pretty hot." I have to admit that I thought she was cute back when she was teaching Hannah. "You guys are all the same, you think," I answered him. "Oh, come on, don't tell me you didn't look at her husband wondering what he had in his pants." Logan was right. I really thought about it. Ryan announced that the men were going to the terrace to smoke a cigar. The women clapped in unison as the men walked out. When they left, Lana brought out a jug and 11 glasses. "Ladies, I discourage men from drinking for obvious reasons, but we can have a glass or two. This will help calm your nerves if needed," Lana announced. Megan came closer to me. "I definitely need one of these glasses." "Me too," I whispered back. "So what are the men talking about there?" asked Amy. Lana responded, "I'm sure they're talking about sports and lying about how big they are." The short red-haired girl quickly interjected, "Ryan doesn't need to lie." "And you're Jack too," Lana retorted, causing everyone to laugh. "Let's have a drink. Here's to good friends and our husbands, whom each of us gets to know a little better today." We knocked our glasses together and drank. When I finished my drink, I broke out in a cold sweat. I rushed to the bathroom. I had an anxiety attack just like before. Amanda must have seen me run out because she knocked on the door asking if I was okay. I let her in and closed the door behind me. "I'm fine, Amanda, just another anxiety attack." Amanda hugged me tightly. "Everything will be fine, just remember the plan. If you get nervous, just get Russell's keys. The guys are already returning. Let's grab another glass to calm your nerves. Give me a few minutes and I'll be out." I took a few deep breaths before heading back to the party. I kept telling myself that I needed to pull myself together and not make a scene. Then I decided that I would make the safe choice and take Russell's keys. I knew it looked cowardly, but it made me feel better. Returning to the living room, I saw Amanda bring me another glass. The men returned and socialized with the women after their cigars. Logan quickly found me and asked if everything was okay. Amanda must have told him about my attack. "Honey, we don't have to do this if it makes you feel uncomfortable," Logan said quietly. I hugged and kissed him. "No, everything is fine." Over the next hour, we tried to talk to all the couples. Most of the time, Logan was next to me, but at times he would wander off to talk to others. I felt confident in my decision to take out Russell's keys, although I was a little worried that he might be disappointed if he didn't end up with someone new. Lana invited everyone into the living room for the main draw. Even though I had a plan, my heart was racing. "Well, it's time for the draw, and time for the punchline will come later," Lana said, causing laughter and applause. "First, I need each of the men to place their keys in the bowl and grab their little helper." One by one, the men walked to the center of the room, throwing their keys into a bowl and taking a pill from another bowl. Logan looked at me when it was his turn. I just nodded to him. Logan joined the other men, put down his keys, and took the pill. He chewed it, like other men. "Everyone is ready. We need to act quickly before the pills start to take effect. As you know, we have 4 new pairs. I'll pull their names first, and then the rest." Lana put her hand into the bowl with the names of the women. "Our first member is Amy." The crowd clapped as Amy walked up to the bowl. At that moment, I realized the weak point of Amanda's plan. Everything would have been fine if Amy hadn't chosen Russell's keys. Amy put her hand into the bowl. Lana raised the keys into the air. Phew, those weren't Russell's keys. The owner of the keys, Chuck, recognized them and exclaimed joyfully. Chuck walked to the center of the room, holding out his hand. The new couple stepped aside to the applause of the others. Lana put her hand back into the beginner's bowl. The next name was Megan. I looked at Amanda with a dissatisfied look. Megan approached the bowl, not as confidently as Amy, but still did not hesitate. Damn it, I thought. She was holding Russell's rabbit's foot. I glanced at Amanda, realizing it wasn't her fault. Rookie versus newbie, it should be fun. There are only 2 newcomers left. Next is Alice. Please go on stage. My legs felt like they were filled with lead as I approached the center of the room. Logan nodded at me as I dipped my hand into the bowl. I took out a bunch of keys and held my breath. A shout came from the back of the room. Of course, this was one of the guys I barely talked to. Well, Jack, take Alice. Jack was married to Robin, both of whom looked like they were in their early 30s. Jack was tall, about 6 feet 3 inches, and strongly built, judging by his tight polo shirt and the sleeves that hugged his muscular arms. He extended his hand, and I nervously took it. The next few minutes passed in a blur. I didn't even notice whose keys Amanda got. All I could do was glance at Jack and back at Logan. I collected my thoughts a little and realized that there were only 2 women left who had to choose the keys, and Logan's keys were still in the bowl. Hannah's teacher, Debbie, had to choose second to last. I thought it would be awkward for her if she chose the keys of one of her students' parents. Debbie took out a set of keys. I looked carefully and made sure that these were not Logan's keys. Oh my God, I thought, my husband is going to spend the night with the hottest woman in the room. Great. Looks like I'm taking the last newcomer. I ask everyone to say goodbye to their spouses and wish you a pleasant night, Lana announced. Jack whispered to me that he would be waiting for me at the door. I quickly found Logan, who hugged me and told me he loved me. He asked again if I was okay. I told him yes. I kissed him and wished him a good time with Lana. I walked over to Jack, who was already standing at the door, kissing his wife, Robin. Robin turned to me and hugged me. Enjoy your time with my Jack. Don't tire him out too much, she said with a smile as she left with the other man. Are you ready? Jack asked, holding out his hand to me. I took his hand. Yes, let's go. Oh God, I blurted out as soon as we approached his car. Are you okay? Jack asked, clearly worried. Yes, everything is fine. It just happened to come out. I suddenly realized that this was the same Jack that Lana said he didn't need to lie about. I showed Jack directions to our house and opened the garage door so he could park inside. Would you like a drink? Jack asked as we entered the kitchen. I think I've had enough for today. I'm probably ready to go upstairs. I closed the bedroom door and looked at Jack. Alice, I know you're nervous. Is there anything I can do to help you? Now I feel really stupid. Jack, I'm sorry. You'd probably rather have someone else take out your keys. Jack came closer, wrapping his big arms around me. Nothing like that. I'm happy that you did it. Before he could finish his sentence, I kissed him. And I did it. I had sex with him. I don't think I need to say that I was very nervous before this party. It's a little confusing. When we gave you approval, Lana told us that you had already swapped partners with the couple you came with. If that's the case, why were you so nervous? Yes, we did change, but this was different. I've known them forever. Wait, did you approve of us? Of course, we approve of you. We don't invite just anyone here. But it's not what you think. We don't just judge looks. We just want to make sure couples are ready and serious. Would you come again? I have to talk to my husband about this, but I think we could go back if he wants to. Jack hugged me, and we both felt tired. We were so exhausted that we soon fell asleep. After Jack left, I fell back into a deep sleep. To my surprise, I didn't wake up when Logan returned to bed. When I opened my eyes, the room was already filled with morning light. Logan slept peacefully next to me, just like any other Sunday morning. But this was no ordinary Sunday morning. Just a few hours ago, Jack had been in my bed and Logan had spent the night in the party hostess's bed. Good morning, darling, I said, kissing his cheek. Good morning. I pressed my naked body against him. Can I really feel my wife pressing against me? Did you have a good time with our hostess? Yes, it was a pleasant time. Wait, just nice. You were with the hottest woman at the party. All the men wanted her. Tell me everything. I'll start with what happened before the draw began, when we were on the terrace smoking cigars. Like you, our conversation was about women. When it came to Lana, everyone admitted that she was stunningly beautiful, but that was where the conversation ended. Nobody dared to talk about her anymore. Then the draw came, and I was really concerned about how nervous you were after you pulled out the keys. I didn't immediately realize that it was all over, and I was never chosen. I admit, I was excited that I was going to be with Lana. When everyone left, Lana asked me to help clean up. I was disappointed because I could already feel the pills starting to take effect. With such an incentive, I quickly did everything. When we finished, I went to hug her, and she returned the hug. But when I tried to kiss her, she stopped me. She said she doesn't kiss. I asked her how we would do it, and she said she wanted us to take a shower first. But before we went, she asked me to tell her how beautiful she was. I said she was incredibly sexy. She commanded me all evening and told me what to do. I did as I was told. This is my story. Why are you grinning? Logan asked. I was worried you were going to leave with the hottest woman at the party, and you tell me it's okay. I'm sorry you didn't have a good time. I laughed. No, that's not true. We were all jealous of her, but she's just a bitch. I think it's funny. I'm glad you think it's funny. Are you going to tell me about your night with Big Jack? I'll do it later, I said. After we had sex, I told him a watered-down version of my night with Jack. I didn't lie. I told him I was very nervous at first, but Jack was kind and patient with me. When I finished my story, I asked him if spending time with Lana influenced his idea of attending Roland's parties. Logan smiled at me. We're being honest, right? I nodded. If you want to stop, then no questions asked. We will stop, but I will go again. About an hour later, a message arrived from Amanda. She wanted to talk. She didn't have much time to talk, but she wanted us to meet tomorrow night for dinner and each talk about our evenings. After my husband's experience, I wasn't sure if he would want to talk about the details of his night with our friends. Logan said that although his evening was not what he had hoped for, he really wanted to hear about their nights. I also got the feeling that he thought there might be some action after the plot. We had a quick dinner and then settled down in the living room. At first, I told the same, toned-down story I told Logan. When I finished, they all applauded. Russell was next. I can't say I was thrilled when I saw Megan pull out my keys. The reason is not that it is a little fuller than the others. She's very sweet. But I was worried that she was a newbie, just like us. When we spoke with her and her husband, it became clear that she didn't particularly want to be at this party. I thought this would end badly. Her hands shook as she handed me my keys. After I kissed Amanda goodbye, I saw Megan talking to her husband. They were clearly arguing, but I couldn't make out what they were saying. As I got closer, I heard Megan say, "Okay, I'll go." Her husband left, and when she turned around, I was already standing next to her. Damn, did you hear that? I didn't hear anything. I immediately realized that she didn't believe me. What are we doing, Megan? I asked, uncertainty. Megan smiled as she pulled out the garage door remote. We're going to your car and you're taking me home, right? Her tone was very annoying. I realized that this would not be a pleasant time. When we got into the car, Megan gave me directions to their house. He was not far away, so the journey took a little time. Before turning off the engine, I took Megan's hand. Okay, I heard the end of your conversation with your husband. It seems like you don't really want to do this. I don't have to come in. Megan sighed. Listen, I'm scared, but I don't want you to leave. Will you at least have a drink with me? I followed her into the kitchen, where she pulled out 2 bottles of beer. I'm so sorry, Russell. I'm sure if you were with one of the other women, you'd be in their bed by now. I know what you're thinking. Not only did she get a plump girl, but she also got a coward. You have serious self-esteem problems. You are very beautiful. You just don't see it yourself. Megan blushed and lowered her head. We chatted and drank beer. She said that her husband persuaded her to go to the party. She said she was nervous because her husband was the only man she had been with. When we were on our second beer, she asked, "What are these pills they gave you?" This is the first time I've taken one, but she should help. Megan giggled. Is she working? I put my hand on her shoulder as I moved closer to her. Yes. We did have sex. I think it's your turn now, Amanda. I was so carried away that I didn't notice who you left with, I said. Well, honey, everyone thought you were going to faint, Amanda said, leaning forward on the couch to begin her story. I pulled out the keys of the teacher Carl, my husband. I was intrigued by his bald head. I had never been with a guy with such a head before. Carl and I stood watching as the other woman pulled the keys out of the bowl. He whispered to me that the tradition is to kiss your spouse goodbye and then meet you at the front door or car. The quick drive to our house was quiet. I thought Carl was the quiet type. When we entered the kitchen from the garage, Carl asked for water. He said dry mouth was one of the side effects of the pill he took. I took out a bottle of water and asked him what other effects this pill had. Carl took the bottle from me and at the same time pulled me towards him. Show me the bedroom and you will see the effect. We had sex. We lay there a little longer before Carl said it was time for him to go. We all applauded Amanda's story. Russell seemed to enjoy story time. What about Logan? She asked. Oh yes, I hope you don't mind, but I'm not in the mood to share today. I want my husband to belong only to me today. Subscribe to our channel so that your love doesn't cheat on you, and go ahead and listen to the next story because this story is nothing compared to the next one. If you're under 18, don't even think. Click to the next one. Click to the next one. Click to the next one. Click to the next one.